In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can install a chair rail and panel molding in the shape of these boxes to make a simple DIY wainscoting. Before we get started and how I show you how you can do this with simple tricks that can make you do this in less than an hour, we need to take some measurements, and there's a simple mathematical equation that will help you get all your measurements accurate the first time to help you do this as quickly and efficiently as possible. All right, let's get started. Okay guys, so really quick, some easy rules of thumb that you need to remember when doing a project like this. Number one, always install your chair rail first so you have something to reference the top of the box on, and the bottom of the box will be referenced off the baseboard. The sides will be referenced off the wall. The rule of thumb that I always use between the spacing of the boxes and the chair rail and baseboard is anywhere between 3 to 4 inches. So 3, 3.5, 4, it depends on your math. And I'm going to go into that mathematical equation for you right before we start making our cuts. So another quick rule of thumb, measure the height of your ceiling. From floor to ceiling, you want to break the wall down into thirds. So this is always going to be 1/3 of the way up. So for instance, in this room, I have a 10-foot ceiling. So what I've done is come up 40 inches for the chair rail. So if I broke it into thirds, 40 inches times 3, 120 inches, or 10 feet. So there's your math. All right, so let's get into the cuts now. I'll show you the mathematical equation, and we'll start to put this thing together. It's real simple. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be doing the wainscoting on this side of the fireplace, on this wall, just because I have some obstacles that I have to move out of the way, furniture and cable boxes and stuff like that on the other wall. So since we have a clean slate right here, and this is going to be the quickest access, I'm going to show you on this side how we do the chair rail and the boxes. So first, we're going to start with the height of the chair rail, and I'm pretty lucky because I'm not going to have to move any of the light switches or the outlets because they fall within plenty of room for the tolerances of where I need to be. Now, normally chair rail, you can go anywhere from 32 inches, 34 inches, all the way up to 50 inches. It all depends on the height of the floor to the ceiling. You don't want to split the wall in half. It just doesn't look right. You want to have that proportion of the bottom being a low chair rail and a higher upper part of the wall for the separation. All right, so that's going to be for the top of the chair rail. So I'll set up a laser level so that I can get that line and really see how that looks. Now, the way I find the size of each one of the boxes for the picture frame molding, it's actually just simple math. Now, I can tell just by looking at this wall, now I like to go with odd numbers with the paneling, with the wainscoting, and you can see odd numbers are very pleasing to the eye when you look at the fireplace. Also, the way I did the fireplace, we have all odd boxes here across the top. So you have 5 boxes across the top, and what that does is allows you to center one of the boxes. So you have 2 on this side, then you have the one in the center, which will be the 3rd one, and the 4th and the 5th complements that center box. So when you're looking at odd numbers here, everything will center second box in this case. So it'll be 1 box here, a box here, and a box here. So let's measure off the wall. Let's get 2 measurements, one at the bottom, one at the top, just to make sure that we're not too far off. So 71.25 and 71.25. Okay, so we're good. So that means that the wall is pretty plumb in the corner. And I know this is plumb because I checked it as I went when I built it. So the simple math here is, what we're going to do is, I'm going to use, now the rule of thumb usually between the boxes is anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. In a small space like this, I could go 3.5, but I'm going to first try 3-inch spaces between each one of the boxes. And I'm going to see if that gives me a nice, even, roundabout number. And if it does, then I'm going to use that measurement and I'm going to make a spacer block. Okay, so let's get the calculator out here. So the way we want to do it is, you're going to have 3 boxes. We need to find the width of each box to make it spaced evenly. So if we are doing 3 boxes, we're going to have a space here, which is 1, a space here between the first and second. That'll be 2, and then 3 and 4. So you have 4 spaces. So 4 spaces, and that's going to be 3 inches a piece, so you know that's 12 inches. And this measurement between here was 71 1/4, so we're going to go 71 1/4. Now we're going to subtract the 12 inches, which would be the 3 inches of the 4 spaces. So minus 12, that gives you 59 1/4. So 59 1/4, and I need 3 boxes. We're going to take that measurement, we're going to divide it by 3. So 59 1/4 divided by 3, and it's going to give me 19 3/4. So here's the math. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. Hopefully the camera can catch this. We had 71 1/4 between the walls. We want 3 boxes, and we have 4 spaces, so that's 12. So we take 71 1/4, and then we subtract the 12. That gives us 59 1/4. 59 1/4, we divided that by 3. Well, in that case, if you would have did it that, you know, on paper like that, it would have been 59.25 to make it simpler. Okay, and we came up with 19 3/4 inches of the space for the width of the boxes. And that's with the 3-inch space between each box. So now we'll set up a stop block, and we'll cut everything to those lengths. We are going to need 2 pieces per box at 19 3/4 for the top and the bottom. So we'll set up a stop block for that. First I'll put the chair rail in, then we'll start cutting the boxes. And then once I have the chair rail in, then I can set up also what I want to do is figure out the length of each box. So if the chair rail's sitting up there, once I put the chair rail in, I'll measure down to the bottom of the chair rail from the baseboard also, and that'll give me my measurement of the length from top to bottom. All right, so let's get started, and I'll explain it better as I go. I find the easiest way to have it set across so that both of the chair rails on either side of the fireplace are going to be completely on the same plane with each other. We're going to put this in right up to the line. Just one nail in the corner here. That's going to hold it in place and allow me to put the level on it. I have 2 spacer blocks that are both 3 inches they're ripped down to. Doesn't matter how long they are, they just need to be at least 5 to 6 inches long. They could be longer, doesn't really matter, but you just need them as spacers. A T in the corner. You butt it up against the wall or fireplace in this case, and butt it up to the chair rail, and you make a mark right here. That's your corner. A point of measurement right there. And do the same thing on the bottom. Go off the baseboard. This point of reference is going to give me my length from top to bottom. So if we're going to have 3 boxes, we're going to need 2 long panel moldings on each box, so that's 6, and we'll also need to cut 6 for the width of the same panel molding. So now we can set up a stop block, cut everything in one shot, come back and nail it up picture frame style using these blocks as our right angle gauge. Okay, so I'm going to set up a stop block so I can make my repetitive cuts. There, I'm going to lock it in place. Now, if you don't have a fence set up like this, you can just put a piece of scrap there and clamp it to a table or wherever you're resting your miter saw. Swing my saw to the left. Now, if you're cutting a lot of these, what you want to do is you want to raise your stop block just a little bit up like this so that you can cut the 45, slide it past, cut another 45 without having to swing the saw back and forth. But I'm not cutting that many in this case, so I'm going to swing it back and forth just for the purposes of the video. Maximizing the material here. Let's get it to the corner without wasting too much. Make a cut. Bring the long point of the miter right to my stop block. That's it. Hit the stop block. Make the cut. Same way I measured, I'll make 90-degree corner. I'll make sure I'm touching on all the sides that I need to be. Take one of the moldings, I'll butt it up into the corner so that it's sitting perfect over there. Then I'll take the other short point, put it inside, get my miters perfect. Once I get the miters perfect, I'll shoot a nail through both. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down the wall with my spacer and shoot the molding in. And I'm not going to do all the way to the bottom because I want to leave that loose so that I can get my bottom short piece in there. What I'm going to do here is move along and keep this up tight. This length will create the perfect width of the box. If I did have to move this box, I would use a new work box or a remodel box, some people call it, to move it over into the drywall so that it wouldn't hit instead of notching out any molding. You can see in this case the way the spacing worked out evenly was perfect, and it gave me just about a quarter of an inch or a half an inch gap between the molding and the outlet. Sometimes you're going to run into an outlet that you're going to have to move. In this case we didn't, so let's get that all set up. And now I can shoot this one. And then just putting these together like this gives you your perfect squareness of your box. Keep those miters tight. And you can put your spacer in the bottom so that you shoot it evenly. Got along. Okay. Now, there's another thing I want to do here before I move on to the next box. I want to lock these miters together. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to shoot a nail straight through here into both miters. Now, if you can't get the gun in here from the side, you can shoot it in from the top. And what that'll do is lock the miters together so that they don't come out. And this one here, it'll shoot from the bottom. This one here, I can get to the side, so I'll shoot from the side. And that's it, those are locked together. My right angle, make sure it's touching in all directions. Panel molding, a long panel molding. And you can see the pattern here. This is how it's going to work out easily for me to get this wall done pretty quickly. Okay guys, so you can see that's all there is to it. As long as you have your spacing blocks and you plan it out right, you can see this flows really nice. And this is in continuous plane with the bottom of the chair rail and the firebox straight across. It gives it even some more depth and character to the room. Now, like I said, you still have 2/3 of the wall the way up. So this is going to be painted on the bottom, is going to be all white. The way I'm painting the fireplace, the whole wall, the moldings, this is going to be like an accent wall. So the upper color of the wall is going to be the same as this. It's kind of like a bone white, a little off, a little ivory type. So it's going to give a little contrast. So I just need to caulk this up, paint it when I paint the fireplace. Okay guys, so that was a really quick and easy DIY project. Anybody can do it. Just make sure you remember those key points that I stated in the beginning of the video, which is the height of your ceiling, the 1/3 of the wall, the way up is where you want to put your chair rail. Make sure that you consistently putting spacing between the tops, bottoms, and sides of the box with those spacer blocks the way I showed you. The other rule of thumb was the spacing between the blocks anywhere between 3 to 4 inches. I wouldn't say really go more than that. I like to use 3.5, but for certain walls, 3 inches or 4 inches is going to work with the mathematical equation. Just make sure that you're keeping it the same, equal on both sides if on that same wall. If you have a fireplace like this or an obstacle, a window in between, something where it's going to break up that wall, you still need to maintain that spacing. Okay, so if you need to tweak that side of the wall, say on the other side of the fireplace, if I had to go 3.25 inches as opposed to 3.5 inches or 3 inches, no one from this distance is going to see the difference of that 1/4 inch. The spacing, if it's even consistently all the way around, everybody's going to think it's exactly on with the other side, and they'll never notice it. All right guys, so if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to check the link for the tools in the description box below. It won't cost you any more to buy those tools that I use, but it does help out the channel a small bit. All right guys, so thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I still got a lot of caulking and nail hole filling and some painting to do, but I'm not going to do that on camera. Number one, because I'm going to be spraying this and I don't want to get any overspray on the camera because that is a new camera and it is pretty expensive and I don't want to have to buy a new one. All right, so the second thing is because by the time I mask this all off, and I also have to do the coffered ceiling as well, I have to spray that. So I have a lot of other projects going on, more stuff with tools and things like that you guys really want to see. A lot of you guys have been emailing me. So we're going to be talking and concentrating on more of the woodworking and actual builds and tools in the next few videos because the moldings and stuff are done for now. I have plenty of those in the future to come. Don't worry, we're not going to stop doing them, but right now we got a lot of shop projects going on and I definitely got to clean up down there. All right guys, so I'll catch you next time.